Hello, everyone. This is your host, Rebecca Beavers, and welcome back to the Bridging the Gap podcast. Over the past decade, the language of diversity, equity, and inclusion has become embedded in higher education. Orientation programs, scholarship initiatives, resource centers, mentorship networks, all built to support students who historically sat at the margins of higher ed access. But in the last 2 years, that landscape has started to shift. And in some places, it's disappearing altogether. What used to be considered institutional progress is now being reframed as political controversy. Across the country, state houses, courts, and governing boards are reassessing, restricting, or outright dismantling DEI efforts. And the ripple effects are reshaping what college campuses look like and who feels welcome on them. Let's start with the legal backdrop. In 2023, the Supreme Court's ruling on affirmative action placed sharp limits on how race could be considered in college admissions. While DEI offices weren't the direct target of the decision, the ruling created uncertainty. And in that uncertainty, institutions began to reassess how visible their equity programs should be. That decision sparked a wave of state-level actions, legislation limiting DEI positions, restrictions on identity-based programming, and audits of diversity-related spending. Public universities in states like Florida, Texas, and North Carolina were among the first to eliminate offices, cut staff, or rebrand their diversity initiatives under new names like Student Success or Campus Belonging. But the shift didn't stop at the state level. In January 2025, the federal government escalated the debate when President Trump signed Executive Order 14173, a directive aimed at limiting DEI practices across federal agencies and applying pressure to private employers to move toward merit-based frameworks. The order raised new questions about whether DEI programs could be considered discriminatory and whether federally funded institutions might face consequences for continuing them. For higher education, the impact was immediate. Some universities began re-evaluating scholarships that referenced race, culture, or identity. Others froze searches for DEI staff positions. A few quietly removed program descriptions from their websites. And at some campuses, cultural centers like women's centers, LGBTQ+ spaces, multicultural hubs saw budget reductions or structural consolidation. According to recent reporting, more than 400 colleges and universities nationwide have either eliminated or rebranded DEI programs, and that number is still growing. These changes are not happening in a vacuum. Students and faculty have raised concerns that the rollback diminishes support systems that took decades to build. At many institutions, DEI centers were created because students of color, first-generation students, and LGBTQ+ students reported feeling isolated, unwelcomed, or unsupported on predominantly white campuses. These spaces weren't political, they were essential. The tension at the core of this moment is simple. Institutions are being asked to prove that DEI practices align with new legal constraints, even when those same practices were originally built to address inequities the law never fully accounted for. And so, universities are navigating a tightrope. Compliance, risk management, and political pressure. And on the other, student needs, campus climate, and the stated missions of access and opportunity. This episode isn't about taking sides. It's about understanding the structural forces shaping DEI in the present moment. And the truth is this: the policies being debated at the national and state level will directly shape which students are supported, which programs survive, and which institutions continue their commitments to equity quietly, implicitly, or through new frameworks. As the pressure intensifies, one question rises above the rest. What does resilience look like in an era when DEI itself has become a political target? In the next episode, we step back from interviews and turn to the national reporting. Through the stories documented by journalists across the country, and the experiences of international students navigating shifting policies, we'll explore how these broader political forces shape real lives. It's a closer look at the human realities behind the headlines and what they reveal about the changing landscape of access and belonging in higher education. This is Rebecca Beavers, and together we are bridging the gap.